everyone. Happy Thursday.
How's it going? How's it going?
Doing good, Cyril. How about you, my man?
Oh, yeah, it was a late day at work today, but I managed to get home in time to grab a quick shower and get ready for the show. So let's go.
I was getting a little nervous there, buddy. Yeah, I'm like, usually Cyril's here like 10 minutes early. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Cyril, where are you?
Hey, I got here like 5 minutes early. I was only like
yeah,
5 minutes late, so I was only 5 minutes early. There we go.
See, there you go. I'm okay with that. So, yeah, we already got a big crowd starting to pile in. So, BTK, thanks for joining us. John, great having you, buddy.
Welcome.
We got Cillian. Welcome. 7 minutes to begin. Yep. Hope I can come on time. Sulzy. Zaleski. I'm going to screw it up. I'm sorry. Thank you for showing up, buddy. Okay. And Funny Toro just popped in. Funny, my man.
How What's you doing, up, bro? Man?
Okay. So, yeah. Now, things are kind of interesting right now in the world. And a lot of news, a lot of crazy stuff going down. We've got the Fed now going. We've got the ETFs going. I mean, it's craziness. Absolute craziness. So, what do you got for us on some information? Because I hear there's some recertifications for ETFs. Now, what's the deal going on there?
Yeah, so BlackRock and several other firms, hedge funds specifically, have refiled their Bitcoin spot ETFs. They listed Coinbase essentially as the handler because that's why they were essentially rejected the first time around. They didn't actually designate, who they were going to be operating through. So they refiled with more detailed information, and now we're kind of waiting to see what happens there. I know that a lot of the crypto markets have been pulling back a little bit, but anytime you have significant runs like we did last week, you're going to have a pullback.
Exactly. Now, we had a pretty good day today. Last I looked, I mean, kept getting alerts. It's jumping up 1%, 3%. I'm like, wow, okay, pretty good.
Yeah, that was it, just going back and forth like that.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't look at the charts that closely. I just kept getting alerts. I'm like, wow, we must be going up. And so it's really interesting. Now, I did hear that there was somebody that got approved for the ETF. Is that correct?
When did that happen? Because if it happened today, I'm unaware of it.
I thought it was a couple days ago. It's an off place I'd never heard of. Maybe not. Maybe it's just one of those stupid news things that comes through. And okay.
I know that there was several like unnamed or unfamiliar hedge firms that were filing Bitcoin ETFs. So, might have been one of them, but.
Right. Okay. And so now, yeah, the Fed now that's coming up here, the 20th, I believe it is, right? So we got 2 weeks from today.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because again, I mentioned previously that this is the Federal Reserve attempting to stay relevant, essentially. By bringing out Fed now, ahead of any CBDCs, that way they can kind of entrench themselves as part of the infrastructure.
Gotcha. And John Richter says, Fed now, my arena. Good, John. You might have to educate us about it because even I don't fully comprehend exactly what they're trying to do or what they're doing or how they're going to do it. Because I see that there's no blockchain companies listed on the Fed Now website. So
I'm pretty sure it's all internal.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. The Federal Reserve. It's not like they're going to, not have something completely centralized.
Right. Exactly. They're not going to share. They don't play well with others. We know how this game works.
No.
So, yeah, now we're going to get in the voting here shortly. But, Sarwa, I talked to my master and commander, the CEO of Down Home Crypto, because, yes, we are an LLC. And she, my lovely wife, has said that she wants to start doing some giveaways. Because, we keep having problems with voting, just not getting that many people in to vote. We need a broader spectrum and more interaction there. So we are going to start a weekly giveaway, guys. And here's how this is going to work. Okay? There's two criteria to this rule, or to this giveaway. First, you must go on the Down Home Crypto Discord and vote. Really simple. In the Down Home Crypto, in the Discord, that's easier to say. We're going to collect all the voters, and every time you vote, that's an entry into the drawing. Now, when we do that Rags to Riches episode that you voted on, during the live stream only, we are going to draw one of those voters. They must be present to win. You can't watch the recording and say, oh yeah, I saw it the next day. No, sorry guys, no. These are the rules. You must be present, and by the end of that episode, you must DM me, if you're watching, and she'll need just a picture of that screen, and she's going to give you $10. That's going to vote for the Carson chip.
Nice. So, there you go, guys. All you have to do to enter in the drawing for $10 every single week is go vote for what
Right.
you the rags to riches portfolio invest in. It's not hard.
It's really not. And I mean, that's half of what we invest every week. So, I mean, yeah, if we're doubling our money in through this journey, you're going to be doing the same. And you know what? You're going to be doing it with our money. So it's okay. I think it's great. And really want to get you guys involved because I'd like to see more diversification within the voting platform. And remember that you get to vote for a blue chip and a DeFi project, both one vote on each. So yeah, definitely get in there and vote. And also, if there's something new that we don't know about, there's a voting chat right below the vote channel. Go in there and tell us about it. Shoot the links to the white paper, information. Give us something to dig into.
100%. 100%. And I wanted to touch on something. I believe it was 2 episodes ago. It might have been 3. I lose track. I think we're on the 7th episode. I
believe we are, yes.
Okay. But like 2 or 3 episodes ago, there was a tiebreaker, and I had to determine which one we would vote for. And if you remember, one of the votes that was tied was for Wolf Capital. And do you remember what I said when I said why I was not going to vote for that one?
I remember exactly why. The question is, do any of you out there in the audience remember the one critical piece why we did not go with Wolf Capital? If so, throw it in the chat. Let's give it a minute here.
Yeah, we'll give them a minute. We'll give them a minute on that. But I hope, Serenity, that it is nowhere near as hot where you're at as it is where I'm at right now.
It's cooking. We're in the mid 90s, high 90s, I think is what we're at today. I'm hiding in a real cold room.
Yeah. No, I was working outside today all day, and it was toasty. It was very, very toasty. Look at me. Do I look like I am built to be in the sun?
No, you're not.
My skin is almost as white as the screen there.
Exactly. Yeah, you are definitely not one to be in sun all day long, and that's one thing that I'm thankful for not cutting wires because it was never air conditioned. It was always in the just pure ass heat in the summer or dead cold in the winter. There was no comfort zone. You had like a week in the summer or in the spring and then the fall. And that was it. The rest of the time you're either freezing or burning.
Yep.
Okay. So
I see that no. Yeah, but that wasn't our reason. So our reason was especially when you have a small account, but this applies to big accounts too, you definitely don't want to be locking your funds for any length of time because things happen rapidly in the crypto space. Things can change quickly. And Wolf Capital recently announced that they were instituting a withdrawal tax. So everyone had their money locked up, had their money deposited, and all of a sudden, bam! Now they're hit with a 20% withdrawal tax.
Right.
So
yeah.
that is
not
why
a good setup.
That is why we do not lock our money in DeFi. But yeah,
Masters taught us, and you were right. Absolutely. Once again, Cyril, this is getting to be a pattern. Once again, you are correct. And yes, I did invest in Wolf Capital. I put $20 in there. I've gotten like $5 out. I've still got another 28 days or whatever till I can finish it out. But yeah, it's one of those time it's all said and done. I think I'm actually down. And that's if it survives another 28 days. Hell, we don't know. But the big thing is I have no control to go in and take it out. I can't say, no, I don't like that. I want out of it. I'm locked. I'm stuck.
Yep. And withdrawals was straight up pause too.
Right.
And when someone has the ability to press a button, flip a switch, and all of a sudden you can't access your money, I'm not okay with that. And I refuse to invest into anything that requires that. All of the farming that I do is it's staked farming, but it's not locked staked farming.
Right. And that's always one of the problems. And even in Dex Vaults, I had the same thing with the APY Profit Builder, is suddenly one of the pairs they no longer support. So it's kind of broken and locked. And so going through, I was like, okay, well, So even if you think it's safe, it's still not safe. Yeah, there's no guarantees, guys. So be safe out there.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
All right. So let's see. How do we stand so far, Cyril? I know you're starving. I know you're hungry. So I'm going to keep tonight's fairly short, unless everybody wants to ramble with me, and I'll stay and chill with them the rest of the night. I'm cool with that. But how do we look so far? I mean, the markets are crazy. So are we doing good? Are we bad?
Yeah. Let's take a look at our P&L sheet.
Perfect.
Going to go ahead and do the share there.
Yep. Let me add it. And there we are.
All right, let's zoom in a little bit to make this a little easier for everyone. So as you can see, even with the craziness this week, we are up 2.36% this week. We had a gain of $3.45. And yeah, so I think that's pretty good. We had, this was the week that crypto did its big pump, right? And then this week it went sideways. And even though it's actually a little down right now, we're doing okay. We're up 2.36%.
Nice. And now let me ask you on that, because on our different DeFi projects we put in, we did 1 week directly in Matic. What has been our most solid hold so far on the different ones we've gone into?
Yeah, so let's take a look at that. Hold on. All right, so Matic, as you can see, comprises 28.5% of our holdings. And then BNB, that's down a little bit from where we purchased it, because when we did our initial split across the 3 blue chips, that first go around, I believe it was like $8 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's something like that. BTC is up since we did our investment. ETH, we've done 2 investments into ETH. It was one of our blue chips for $5 plus like the $8. So we're right around kind of our cost average on ETH. Sea Gold, of course, is 29.1%, and USDC is at 19.7%. Now, please bear in mind, I have not updated the spreadsheet yet, aside from the P&L from last week. It's been a crazy week here for me, IRL. But I'll get all that squared away this weekend, including the changes from any updates that for our purchases that we're doing this week.
Okay. Sounds good. No, it's good to see that we're actually up. I think that's great. That's quite a treasury dog.
And so far, we've spent $2.33 in gas fees.
That's not bad.
No,
but it's something
not.
We have to track. I mean, with all these transactions, they do add up, like you talked about. So
exactly. And when you have a smaller account, our account's chilling at that, where is it at? $146.44, right?
Right.
You want to track that kind of stuff, because that represents, a decent amount of your account, when you have a smaller account. So knowing where that money went, because otherwise you're adding that into your P&Ls and you're going to be like, oh, wow, I'm down more than I thought I was, or, where is that, $2, where did it go? But that's why we track all of our transactions, what they were for, what we did, and what the gas fees were.
Gotcha. Okay. And that makes sense, because, those pennies can add up. Like you talked about before, I think it was the first episode, a penny a day doubled is like $1 million at the end of the month or something like that. Some insane
More
number.
than.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So I wanted to pick your brain, Saul, because I know you're a big investor. I mean, you've been doing this for years. You're trading everything else. I saw one little snippet off Twitter, and I took a screenshot of it, and I want to share that real quick. And I want to get your opinion. Now, this is not financial advice. This is just me saying, hey, what do you think about this?
Okay.
I know. You're like, oh, God, what does he do to me now?
Oh, and by the way, it's actually over $5 million.
Oh, is it over 5?
Yeah, if you had a penny a day.
Penny a day. Okay. So I saw this on Twitter, and I snipped and I pulled it out. And so it's talking about 3 different things here. And I didn't honestly know, what an Elliott wave is. What the hell's an Elliott wave? So I figured you would be the man to ask.
Yeah, that's a trading indicator.
Okay.
So it's a charting indicator. My guess is they are utilizing the Elliott wave indicator on higher time frames, such as the weekly or the monthly time frame. I do not think we'll have a new Bitcoin all-time high by Q3, Q4 of this year. I don't, because that's prior to the halving. The halving is happening like mid next year, give or take. We'll know the date closer to the halving.
Right. I
Just
think I read
because,
something today. April 24th is what they're estimating, but that it could be before or after. We don't know.
right, because it's all based off of how many blocks have been processed, right? So if you have, a time where there's not a lot of transactions happening, not a lot of congestion, blocks are processing faster. If you've got a lot of congestion, they're processing slower. So there's a lot of variables and factors at play with that sort of thing.
Okay. So, not financial advice, but if you had to guess 1, 2, or 3, which one would you lean more towards?
Well, in one of our previous videos, I actually said 3.
You did. I was curious if it was still the same. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, then, and a couple weeks in DeFi. That's a long time.
Yes, but when I'm doing long-term charting like that, I'm on like the monthly charts. So that gives you a very long-term, very broad view of things. So yeah, I'm aiming for number 3.
Okay.
I think it may sneak up on us, and it may actually pop in sometime between November, December of 2024. But it's a range. I'm thinking sometime between November of 24 to like March or April of 25 is kind of where I'm feeling.
Gotcha. Okay. And no, that's great. No one's going to hold you to that. I just wanted to get your opinion, and I wanted to find out what the hell an Elliott wave is, because I had no idea. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of different indicators that you can put on charts. Elliott waves are some of the favored indicators that people utilize, just like moving averages, or some of the lesser known ones like the GAN fan.
Strange name. So, want to take a moment, everybody. Mother is in the house. Hi, Mom. How you doing?
Hey, Sandy.
So, thank you for stopping in, Mom. And I had a chat with her today, and I've got an idea, and I'm actually going to be doing a zero to hero video about what we talked about a few episodes back when we started talking about doing the different MetaMask wallets, talking about that led to the last zero to hero one. This one's going to be about Gnosis safes. So I had a thought, and this is my inspiration for the next zero to hero, is to create a Gnosis safe for almost like an inheritance fund, where we put all the parents in it, like grandparent and kid, and you have to have like 3 out of the 4 signatures. But essentially, instead of saying, hey, send me $20 for a birthday card, say, hey, put some Bitcoin in this wallet address, and start putting that out there. And then 10 years down the road or whatever, us parents sign it to release it. Does that seem reasonable, or does that seem insane?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you can do. The only downside is what happens if one of the parents bites it or something,
Right.
Because a Gnosis safe, if you do not have enough people to perform the necessary signatures, those funds are just going to be stuck there forever.
Right. And that's why we'd make sure it's like 3 out of 5 or something like that. So, yeah, parents could kick the bucket. I mean, something could go horribly wrong. God forbid. I hope it doesn't. But yeah, that's one of the things about it. And instead of having a hardware wallet that could get lost or whatever, this is something anybody can access, put into it. Instead of when they say, hey, send me birthday money, or we want to send you money for a wedding, or whatever it is, like, you know what, just here, put it in this wallet address, and we'll let it sit there. And as we know, by doing Bitcoin, over the last 10 years, the value of Bitcoin's gone up. The dollar itself has gone down. So, I mean, hell of a lot better than a savings account is, for God's sake.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to be better than a savings account with 0.02%,
Exactly.
Exactly. What I did for my daughter is there's a ledger in a safe deposit box that I prepaid for like 40 years. And that ledger, just in case, half of the seed phrase is with the ledger in the safe deposit box. I have the other half of the seed phrase with a trust, a lawyer firm that handles like the trusts and everything like that.
Right.
And once she reaches a certain age, they give her the other half of what she needs in order to access that.
See, and I think that's great. And that's one of those things that I think for your level of investing, things like that is awesome. For a small investor like me, who maybe only has $5 or $10, I would have to buy a ledger. I would have to get a safety deposit box, then pay an attorney. And it's like, okay, you know what? There's got to be a way where we can do it. And I was playing around with the no safe the other day, and like, man, I can start this for pretty much nothing to set it up. And it's like, okay, it's there, it's done. So that was my
one of the other
theory.
things you could one of the other things you can do with a Gnosis safe, and you'd be surprised how many projects don't even know this, but with a Gnosis safe, you can add someone to the Gnosis safe, and then you can give them an allowance that they can spend from the Gnosis safe without requiring any signatures. And you can have this allowance reset every week or every month, etc. So you can essentially use it as kind of like joint DeFi funds where, like let's say it accumulates for a while, your kid gets old enough that they want to start investing into crypto. You can say, hey, I'm going to authorize your wallet to spend $25 a week, so you could begin your investing journey. That way they don't go ham investing everything into some meme coin and then lose it all, but they get to experience the journey of managing their own portfolio. So something else to consider.
That is, I did not know that it had that capability. Okay, that brings about a whole new line of possibilities and thoughts. Like, okay, so keep piling it in, but allow like $50 a week for the rest of your life, and there you go until you hit 50 years old. Then you can cash out 50%, whatever. Yeah, there's all kinds of amazing things here. Now, the one thing I didn't see is there a lifetime and a Gnosis safe or some concern that maybe the company's going to go down or something like that, or how does that work? Is that totally blockchain based, or is that something I got to worry about?
Yeah, so even if the company goes down, because it's a smart contract, your Gnosis safe, that wallet address essentially is a smart contract. So it's there on the blockchain forever. Now, it's going to be a little trickier for you to basically sign transactions if their website's gone. You're going to have to go into the contract itself and, initiate it's a whole lot of interacting directly with the contract, bunches of zeros and figuring out exactly what it is you're trying to do. But it is possible to do it even if the company goes down.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that was a thought I wanted to run by, and I thought, there's probably some people here who want to know what's coming up in the Zero to Hero, because we've gone through the basics. And here's where I need your help, guys, is on the Zero to Hero series. I mean, I started on what is a blockchain. We've gone through the wallets, this dApps, layer one blockchains, all this kind of stuff. What is it that I haven't covered you guys would like to know? Because I'm hitting that point where I could branch, 3,000 different directions, and I really want to know what it is you guys need for education. How can I help you?
You know what DeFi and most people in DeFi need to be educated on?
What's that?
Liquidity pools and how they actually work. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I've got, this token and it's worth X amount of dollars per token. No, it's not. Unless it's paired to USDC, it's worth X amount of this other token that it's paired to, which the only reason why it has a visible dollar value is because the token it's paired to is paired to something else, to something else, to something else, and so on. Like a lot of people don't realize this, but if you're on BSC, I think it's BSC. We'll just go with Polygon because I know this one for sure. But if you're on Polygon, every single thing on there is ultimately backed by Ethereum. If you have, like, even if you're paired to Matic, right? Well, where does Matic get its dollar value from on the Polygon network? It has a pair with wrapped Ethereum. Same thing with, when Ethereum is paired to like USDC on Polygon, and that's why when we had some DPEGs on USDC briefly, like a couple months ago, or maybe it was only 2 months ago. I don't know. Time flies.
It does.
It affected the price of all of those tokens as well, because they were ultimately paired to that, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of education needed around liquidity pools. People do not understand how they work. If they did, I think they would probably run screaming from the majority of the projects they're invested in.
Right. And that's the trick, is trying to spoon feed people is very challenging. And so, yeah, I've run into problems before as far as, okay, what do I share? What do I teach? What do I guide with? And what's my next step? And so let's pull this up here. So here's the Zero to Hero series. And I actually had one here about liquidity pools, talking about, okay, how it balances, you buy in, you sell it. Very, very simple. You're saying we need to go another level deeper. Is that correct?
I think you should. I think you should, because ultimately, I understand that the Zero to Hero series is meant to be more baseline, but they're not getting this education elsewhere. No one's really talking or teaching people about liquidity pools, how they really work, what does, liquidity to market cap mean, what is depth, they don't understand the majority of these things. I've seen projects that, they might have, $1 million of liquidity. Well, really, they have 500,000, right? Because the liquidity pool is half what it's backed by, and then half of the token. So 500,000 gives it $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, if you look at the market cap is like 2 billion, right? Which tells you there's all of these tokens either out in holder wallets or out in the team wallets, and that are significantly more, 200 times more than, is that 200 times, or would that be 2,000 times? I don't know. Brain got cooked.
Yeah. In the heat, I bet, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Brain got cooked today. So don't ask me to do any math.
Okay,
but a whole crap ton more of all these tokens that are out and about. The closer the liquidity is to market cap, the healthier the project is. If you have a significant amount, but then the liquidity is like this, that's not healthy. Now, there's always outliers to that. Some of those, like if you've got a token that exists on multiple blockchains, like Matic, for instance. If you look at the Matic pool, and you pull that up on Deck Screener, you'll see, a couple million on liquidity, but then massive market cap, right? Billions market cap. But they also have liquidity pools on the Ethereum network, Arbitrum, BSC, Polygon. They have it on exchanges. So, there's always extenuating circumstances when it comes to that, so there's always a caveat. But for the majority of them, if your liquidity pool is a very small percentage of the market cap, I tend to stay away from those. And I will say that the only time I have essentially been slow rugged by a project was the very first time I ever got into DeFi. Once I had all this information and had all this knowledge and did all this research, I have not been rugged ever since. I've never wound up in any of those kind of situations, because if you have the info, you can see the red flags clear as day, and you don't fall for let's go to the moon. You don't fall for that.
Right. Or you shouldn't. And it's still really tough. It's just like I did the live stream on going into the Foxfi platform. And I did that for about 4 hours and going back and forth. By the end of the night, I had like a 63% win rate, and I still was down. And then I started really doing the numbers, like, okay, well, if I'm putting in $10, but I'm only getting 15 back on a win, but on a loss, I'm losing it all. I was like, okay, let's start doing the math here. I have to have like a 75% success rate even to break even. Okay, yeah, this gets ugly quick. And so even with the knowledge we have, sometimes getting in there just up to my elbows and giving it a try before it really adds up sometimes has to occur.
Yeah, I mean, I won't even do binary options trading, which is what Foxify is, because it is legitimately incredibly degen stuff. Most people who try to get involved in binary options will lose their entire account. You might get lucky a couple times in a row, but you will lose it. So
yeah.
Even I won't touch binary options, because it's so out there.
Right. And I had to give it a try. And on top of that, it shows you a chart there with the price. But what I didn't realize till after I did it a couple times, like, well, that's just kind of a reference. It's not even real because it's averaging out across like 8 different exchanges. So it's taking the average of all of those, and so the price is going by isn't even what's showing on that chart. So I'm like, wait a minute, okay, this is interesting. So not a bad deal, just yeah, definitely degen, like you were saying. There's almost no way to guesstimate which way it's going to go.
Well, what you're talking about right there is you got to learn about fair versus index price.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay,
That's
so
what it's called. Yep.
what's the difference there? Because now I'm really confused.
Yeah, fair versus index. So index is whatever the price is that's displayed on the platform that you are actively trading on. Fair is the average across, a whole bunch of different platforms that the asset trades on. And most platforms will display both, right? They'll display the fair and the index. That way, because you can actually judge whether or not you should make a trade based off of the difference in those prices. If you see that fair is higher, but your index price is lower, you're like, oh, arbitrage is going to happen here soon. I'm going to go ahead and plop in a buy because my index price is lower. When it arbitrages back up to where it's trading everywhere else, I'm going to make money. Right. And
Okay.
that's why most decent platforms will display both the fair and the index.
Okay, see, I've seen that, but I never knew what the hell that was. So I've got a
That's what
lot
it
to
is.
learn on the trading side. That's for damn sure. So Funny says, I prefer regular time-based stock options. Absolutely, buddy. And
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't been reading your guys' comments. I'm sorry, I've been throwing them on the board. I just get so wrapped up talking to Cyril because yeah, this is fun. But
Funny Toro, I like stock options as well. One of my favorite stock plays that I did with stock options was in 2021. I saw that there was a short squeeze coming on the stock called IVR. And so I started loading up on stock options about a month ahead of time. Every week I was just buying more stock options, super high out of the money, keep it nice and cheap, right? Because you know how that goes. You start getting a short squeeze, and all of a sudden those way out of the money stock options are now worth a crap ton of money. And so I caught that. And I actually used the wins from that to purchase my Congo African gray parrot because those are very expensive.
sounds like a well-spent profit sharing there. I like that.
Yep.
So now let me ask you. I got one more thing because I know you're hungry, and I'm not going to keep you late. I promise. Real quick, just before I came in for this live stream, I was watching a thing about the BRICS nation, and they're building a global gold-based crypto. Have you heard about this? CBDC.
So those, I know that 61NJ and John Richter and Hellbent Horse all are aware of this because I have been talking about it in my old trading server for as long as they've known me. So about 2 years now, talking about how the BRICS nations were going to supplant the US dollar via creating their global currency that they handle trading with, and how it was going to be gold backed. So yeah, no, it's inevitable, and it's something I've been warning people about. Telling them, hey, get out of the dollar. Start investing in gold. The price of gold's being suppressed right now because they're trying to scoop up as much gold as possible for as cheap as possible. Right. If gold was not being suppressed, it would be right around 5,800 per troy ounce right now. Just because gold is just like everything else. You can chart it and you can look at all of the external factors and the global macroeconomics, and you can calculate what its price should be, but it's being suppressed. Just like the price of helium was suppressed. If the free market and supply and demand dictated the price of helium, it would cost you approximately $180 to fill your kid's birthday balloon with helium.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. That's crazy. I'm thinking of all the helium I breathed in just screwing around. Like, man, there's a $50 puff. Drugs are cheaper than helium, man. That's crazy.
Yep. And right now they've been suppressing gold as well. China made it illegal to export gold out of the country if it was mined there. Yeah, like they've been hoarding it. They've been hoarding it big time.
So there's in what I've been saying is we are like in the middle. We're not even on the cusp, but we're literally in the middle of the turmoil of a drastic change of the world as we know it. With technology, with finances, with socialism, everything is going to change, and we're kind of in the middle of that. Is that what you're seeing, or am I just delusional?
No, absolutely. I've been calling it the currency wars. And have, like I said, I've been talking about it for like 2 years now, at minimum. And yeah, we're deep in the middle of that. You know, China has been dumping the U.S. dollar out of their global reserves in the forex markets every single night. They've been selling more and more and more of it. They actually pledged that they were going to reduce their exposure to the U.S. dollar by quite a bit. I don't remember the number offhand, so I'm not going to just spit out a random number, but it was a significant reduction. And now that you've got 22 new nations that are looking at joining BRICS, yeah, it's gonna be difficult because, you know, we here in the United States and in Europe, so basically NATO and G7 nations, what reason are they, all of the BRICS nations, going to have to trade with us? Because we import a whole hell of a lot more than we export to those countries. And that's why we run a trade deficit. That's why China has so much US dollars in their forex reserves, because of that trade deficit. So when they institute their own currency, they already made their own international monetary processor, just like SWIFT, which is what we used to sanction Russia when they went to war with Ukraine by cutting them off from SWIFT so they could no longer interact with the global market. Well, China made their own version, and it's been operational now for about a year. And they've already been piloting their CBDC as of the end of last year. It had processed over $14 billion in transactions, and it was accepted at over 60,000 locations in China. And that's been scaling rapidly this year as well. And when all these nations that export to us are all using a currency that's backed by gold, right?
Right.
Why would they accept paper money?
Exactly. Yeah, and especially since we don't have the gold to back it, we broke the gold standard. What, in 60 something or whatever, or 70 something?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, but yeah, no, we got rid of the gold standard, and you know the value of the dollar dropped like a rock. The only thing that wound up saving it is we made deals with the Middle East, essentially, stating that commodities could only be purchased with U.S. dollars, meaning, you know, trades and commodities are settled in dollars, meaning other countries had to exchange their money for U.S. dollars in order to buy these commodities. And there was a big hubbub on the news, at least my news feed, when Saudi Arabia agreed to start settling trades for oil in the Chinese yuan.
I heard about that a few weeks back, or I know when I heard it, it's maybe a month by now, but yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
Yep. The dollar essentially was, once it was no longer a gold-backed currency, it became an oil-backed currency. And now that's going away.
Right. The only thing we've got to back our currency is the military. It's about the only thing we export is attitude, ego, and military. That's it.
Yeah, and something for those of you listening, and you as well, Serenity, if you, I'm going to give you a little bit of research material that you need to go do as homework. So, homework for you. I want you, since Vietnam, every single war that the U.S. has been involved in, every single time we've gone in and installed democracy in a country, I want you to find me a single one of those countries that did not or that already had global banking in there, centralized banks. Every single country that we have gone mucking about with since Vietnam had no centralized bank. And quite a few of them were in the process of creating their own gold-backed currency. And so we used InfoWars, we used propaganda as a way to vilify these countries and their leaders at the time, so that we could then go to war, overthrow, and essentially install a centralized banking system. I'm challenging you to find a situation where that was not the case.
From Vietnam till now. Okay. I will, I'll see what I can find. I'm guessing you already are fully armed to the teeth on this one, but I will see. I'll see if I can find one exception somewhere in the chaos that we tend to do as Americans, because, yeah, we got to mess with shit. That's our job. What do you do as an American? We just fuck shit up. That's all we do. We go in with big guns, so we fuck shit up. That's all.
Yeah, we go in and we mess around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
it's kind of scary. So now let me ask you one more question, because I know you got to go, Cyril, but I know we've got I'm not going to say elderly woman, but a woman who's in her seasoned years, my lovely mother here. We were talking about this earlier today with some friends of hers about that every great empire has its rise. It's at the top and then its fall. You had Rome, you had Aztec, you had all these people throughout history, and now this is America's time. We've had our peak. Now we're starting to fall. As far as any of, let's say, older listeners or people in my age, I'm 50, I turned 51 here in a few weeks, and older, what should they be worried about? Should they start collecting gold digital currency? I mean, what would you suggest for the next 20, 30 years for their little bit of income they get if they're looking for a safe haven?
Honestly, the best thing would be precious metal coins. If you're in that particular situation, precious metal coins, whether it's gold or silver, because one, they're easy because they're there, right? So you don't need access to the internet to use it, like you would with, crypto, and they're going to retain their value. They'll always at least have face value, right?
Right.
You've got your silver American Eagle dollars. They're worth approximately, what was it last time I looked? I don't know. It was a decent chunk of change. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, funny Toro, the war on drugs is here in America. I'm talking about other countries. And yes, it's to profit the private prison system. Prisoners are they're essentially traded. So this might make you mad if you don't already know about it, but there's essentially tradable securities, if you will, tied to each prisoner in our prison system. And those are bought and sold as assets.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, and so it is very profitable for them to make sure there's people in prison instead of having proper rehabilitation facilities.
Gotcha.
Just throwing that out there. Like, the more you dig into everything about the U.S., and I live in the U.S., so
Same.
but the more you dig into everything that the U.S. does, the more angry you'll get, which is why they do their best to keep us distracted so we don't go digging.
Right, exactly. And I think that's what a lot of the stuff is, like we talked about the XRP, the lawsuits, all this kind of stuff is, yeah, there's all kinds of things going down, and all they're doing is they're treating us like sheep. I mean, it's more on the news and more, got to watch this sitcom, and this soda is bad for you, you grow a third arm, but they're not telling you, hey, by the way, we're manipulating the world economy system and we're all going to die. It's horrible.
Turns out that taurine inside energy drinks actually extends your life.
Really? Okay, I need some of that.
Yep, it was an accidental discovery, but they figured out that extends your life.
Yep. Okay. I have got to start looking up taurine and energy drinks and Vietnam and banking systems. Got it. I got my homework for the day.
That's why I drink my Monster Java coffee every single morning.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to have to switch my Diet Coke to Monster Java coffee. Okay.
You absolutely should not be using diet anything anyway, because the sweetener they use is aspartame, which one directly turns into carbohydrates as soon as your body metabolizes it, so it defeats the diet purpose. And two, aspartame is poisonous.
You're taking all my fun out of life, man. I mean, come on.
Hey, I'm just telling you to go drink a regular soda because it's actually better for you than the diet ones.
Right. And this, I've heard a lot of that, and it's one of those I just can't stand the flavor, and I've been drinking more and more water. You can ask the wife and stuff. Yes, I used to drink a ton of soda, drastically cut down to where I'm, I think, like 2 cans a day, maybe 3, and that's it. Where I was doing like a 12-pack a day, it was, yeah, we won't even talk about my soda content. I don't have a third eye or something I don't know. That dentist, that might be a third eye growing. So BTK says, I just buy BTC daily. That's how I deal with all the nasty stuff government does. Yeah, absolutely. And you know,
stick to the man.
Yep. I'm definitely big about America. And, you know, like I said before, my brother, my son, my wife are all veterans. They've all served. I fully believe in supporting the country. I just don't believe in supporting the government, because the whole concept of the people, by the people, for it. Well, there hasn't been somebody of the people in, I don't know, what, couple hundred years that actually ran the damn government. They buy the presidency. So, yeah, that's out the window.
Well, I don't know about a couple hundred years, because we've only been around for about 247 years. So
the first few presidents were great, man. I mean, who was it? Jefferson that actually assassinated a traitor on the front yard of the White House? I think it was Jefferson did that. Yeah. They were no-nonsense guys back in the beginning.
You know what I have not seen yet so far this feed?
What's that?
I haven't seen the vote results.
Oh, shit. Damn. You're supposed to keep me on track on this. Usually we have more time. So let's bring those up real quick. Because
well, speaking of, yes. It's already been almost an hour.
We're at 49 minutes. Yeah, we have blown.
Hey, at least I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I was like, I got 40 minutes and then I'm just leaving the stream. So
right, you've done great. And I'm sorry we kept you longer. So we will do the vote results. We'll find out where we're at and we'll get you out of here to get some food. But thank you for sticking with us, because I know you had a rough day. This is one of my high points of the week, though. And I know a lot of people here. So thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem. I always say, I'm like, look, I got, I'm hungry, or I got stuff I got to go do or whatnot, but then I get on here and I just have fun chit chatting with all of you guys. I'm talking about, trading, talking about global macroeconomics. I know sometimes we get a little off down the rabbit hole, but that's what makes it fun. We're completely unscripted here, so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it can get kind of sketchy some days. It's like, But I did this today. See, I actually worked before, so I'm prepared and ready. Okay, so for all those that vote...
Well, here's the thing. You say you're prepared and ready, and yet that says June 9th, Rags to Riches, with the APY Profit Builder on Dex Falls. So he says he's ready, but in actuality, he's bringing up the wrong screenshot.
Oh, damn. Okay. Damn, I fired now? This is why we can't have nice things. Okay, so let me go figure out what I did. Did I copy the wrong one down? Oh, I went to June. Oops, my bad. Okay. Extra riches. Here, let's see. Where am I?
It is July 6th, sir.
There it is. Okay. Here we go. Hey, that one looks better. That's why I can't have nice things. I tend to break things. Okay, let's try this one. Oops, add to stream. There we go. Is that the right one? Yes.
Yep, okay. July 6th. So we're getting BNB as our blue chip this week, which isn't bad because BNBs are down a little bit, so that'll be a good buy. And then, guys, really, you voted for the same one as last time for your DeFi investment?
They did.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I haven't done the purchase yet for last week. So we'll just, we'll just wrap it up and do a $40 purchase, which I believe that project has a 10% buy tax. So that's something to be aware of. We'll actually get $36 worth out of it. But yes,
but that's okay. Little Bird told me something about the whole once Tinder goes nuts, man. That's gonna be like some serious profit there, in my opinion. But not financial advice.
Well, your audio is doing that thing again. Well, now we can't hear you at all. It's almost kind of relaxing. We still can't hear you, by the way. Nope, no audio. So while you're figuring out your audio, because we can't hear you, still can't hear you. Funny Toro says, I thought we were sticking to Polygon and ARB network. Oh, now he's gone. Hey, it's just me. What's up? So we didn't dictate any particular network. We just said that we want to be careful, because if we go and start investing into all these different networks, we're going to bleed away a lot of our money in bridging and various gas fees. Oh, he's gone completely, I guess. He's no longer even sharing.
Am I back?
He is, and we can hear him.
Sorry, I refreshed. I thought, oh my God, I just killed the stream.
Nope, stream was still going.
Cool, okay.
Or at least I think it was. It still says that we're live.
Hey, all right, so I didn't break it too bad.
Nope. I was just answering Funny Toro's question in regards, because he was like, I thought we were sticking to Polygon and ARB, and I was like, well, no, we're not sticking to any particular network, but I caution against bridging to a whole bunch of different networks, because that's how we're going to bleed away funds and bridge fees, you know. Plus we got to make sure there's gas there, and getting gas there can be tricky sometimes too. So when you have only $20 each week, you know, that you're going to be investing into different DeFi projects, you need to make sure that you don't go to 800 different chains. So,
right.
But,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
what?
I said, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Because your audio is doing that little thing. Yeah. So the nice thing is, I have a beta link to the any swap from CryptoLink, so I can just use that, and that'll get it over there cheap and quick, and you know, that'll work. But now,
Perfect.
Guys, please don't forget, we're going to be doing a drawing every week. $10 is the prize. All you have to do to enter for your chance to win is go to the Discord, which link is in the description, I'm sure.
It is.
And go to the voting room right there and vote. If you do that, you're entered. Just make sure that you're here watching. That way, because you got to be present when we do the drawing in order to win. If you're not present, we'll draw someone else. So, but that's all you got to do. $10 free.
Right.
Yay.
That's it. And so, yeah, I don't know why my audio is cutting out, guys. I thought I had this fixed. I've done a couple streams over on Twitch with gaming, haven't had problems, so I don't know what I broke. I think it's
you're good right now.
Hates me personally. Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's really weird. I will have to find that problem. I'm saving up my pennies to get some hardware upgrades and things like that. But yes, Cyril covered it perfectly. And now here's the trick, though, guys, is if you're not present to win, we can't redraw Cyril because they have until the end of the show to send me that DM. And so after the show is over, that giveaway is gone. It's a one-time shot.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, they could. Yeah. Otherwise, they could watch the recording and say, "Oh, well, no, I was there, but I was driving around in my car." It's like, guys, sorry. And unfortunately, I have to do it this way to make it fair because it's really about participating in the community. And this is one of those where we could invest our own funds. We could go through this journey, but this is really for you guys. So we need your help. And we really want you guys to jump in, participate, ask your questions, throw some information out there, and let's learn together. So that's what makes it fun.
Absolutely. And yes, John, that means you got to slide into his DMs.
Yep. You got to sneak in, and it's really easy. I mean, you can DM me on the Discord any point in time. And I missed a couple of these. And any Tony M. Huh?
He's talking about the any-to-any swap from CryptoLink.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Sorry, BTK, you lost me there, buddy. So, yes, Cyril covered it perfectly. So make sure you vote. And like I said, it's collecting everybody who votes. It's down in a private channel and moderator, and Cyril can see it. And I'm going to take those names, put them in a wheel, and during the live stream, we're going to spin it about mid-stream. If you don't DM me by the end of that stream, sorry, guys, you got one shot. So don't miss out.
Like Evan N said, you only got one shot.
That's right. Cyril, my man, thank you, buddy, for hanging with me. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. BTK, John, Mom, Funny, everybody else who's been here, and everybody who watches the rerun of this. Definitely make sure to tune in next week, because we've got some interesting things coming down the pipe. So stay tuned.
Appreciate you guys joining us, and you have a good rest of your week, and enjoy the weekend.
You too, buddy. And take care, my man, and go get some rest and some food, brother. You look cooked.
Yes. I am cooked. It was toasty out today.
All right. It was. Have a good night,
care.
guys. Take care. Catch you next time.